everyone, welcome back to another ICM 2.0 Python video. In this video, we are going to talk about styling shapes, how to add fills and strokes and change the stroke weight. And we'll also talk a little bit about how the draw function running continuously and order affects all of those things. For this lesson, we do have some starter code. I have already gone ahead and duplicated it into my account. The link for this starter code will be in the video description. So if you'd like to follow along, please pause the video, open up that trinket, duplicate it, and get ready to code along with me. After the code along, there are some challenges which you will be completing on your own. So to start, you'll notice that I have already created for you guys a bunch of shapes hanging out in a canvas. And there's also some comments that have some specific instructions for you guys to follow. In this activity, we're going to be giving our shapes a little pizzazz. So instead of just having white shapes with a thin black line around the outside, we'll be able to mix it up a little bit. Now, the three things we're going to be using to do this is the function called fill, which changes the inside color of your shape, a function called stroke, which changes the line color, and a function called strokeWeight, which changes the thickness of the line. So we are going to start by doing this to our ellipse first. And just as a general rule of thumb, we like to apply all of our styling things that are going to affect a shape before the shape that's being affected. We can kind of think of this like when we're doing art, we need to pick up the pencil, crayon, marker, paint, whatever, before we draw the shape. Same idea here. We're going to tell the computer how to draw it, then we're going to let it draw the shape. So let's start off by changing the fill. I'm going to write in fill, and I'm going to give it a fill of 0, which I know is going to turn it black. So I'm going to hit stop, and then I'm going to hit play. So we notice that our ellipse certainly turned black, but so did every other shape on the screen. And that is because when we tell the computer to pick something up, it's going to do that indefinitely. It is going to color everything with that fill. So let's pause and let's try and add a fill to our rectangle to make it a different color. So I'm going to say fill of 150, which should be like a dark gray. And we'll notice that now our ellipse is black, our rectangle is dark gray, and so is every color that comes after the rectangle. We're going to have to deal with those being the same for now because that's actually going to be your challenge once this code along is over. But now we know that we can change fill colors. One thing I want to note is that if we do not define a fill color before shape, there's one at the end of our code, it is going to shoop, 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 loop back around and apply to anything at the beginning of our code because as we recall, draw function runs in a loop. It is always running forever. So we have this fill. Let's start changing our stroke color. So I'm going to worry about our ellipse, then we'll move to our rectangle. I know they're going to look kind of the same for a minute. But underneath that fill, I'm going to put in stroke and I'm going to put in the number 255, which I know is white. All of our color values right now are ranging 0 to 255. That's something we could change or adjust. It happens to be the default. So I'm going to go ahead and hit stop. I'm going to hit start. And it's really hard to see on the video. I'm also realizing my text should be bigger. I apologize. It's hard to see on the video, but there is like a thin white outline around everything. It'll be much easier to see on your computer. And let's actually make that easier to see here. So the stroke changes the color of the line. We have a function called strokeWeight, which changes the thickness of the line. So if I put a stroke weight of 10, that means every shape is going to have a 10 pixel border on the outside. That's actually really thick. I think I'm going to change it to 5. Hit run, and we see that now we have a 5 pixel white border around everything. But I want my rectangle to work a little bit differently. So I'm going to give my rectangle a stroke of 0. I want it to have a black line. And I'm going to give it a stroke weight of 2, just to see how that looks. Now, if I hit play, I notice that this is now thinner and it's black. And again, that's applying to every other shape. But there are going to be times where I maybe don't want a stroke or I do not want a fill. And we have functions that deal with that too. So I'm going to start off with stroke. And one way that I could get rid of the line around it is I could make the stroke weight 0. And it looks like that actually maybe doesn't apply the same way that I want it to. So this might differ. Sorry, guys, I'm used to doing this in JavaScript. And it looks like that differs a little bit from JavaScript. So stroke weight of 0 isn't working. That means I need an alternate solution. So I'm going to go ahead and comment out stroke weight for people who haven't learned this yet. If you highlight something and hold Command or Control, depending on Mac or PC, and hit the !/ button, it'll turn it into a comment. I'm going to add a function called no stroke, and I'm going to see what that does. So no stroke will take away the stroke from everything. It gets rid of it if I do not want a line around the outside. So I think I do actually want a line around the outside. So I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to comment this back in. I think maybe I don't want a fill for this shape. And if I don't want a fill, again, I'm going to comment out the fill here. I can add a function called no fill. And I'm going to hit stop, and I'm going to hit play. And now we see that every shape, the fill is missing. If I decide that a different shape needs a fill, I would just add it above the shape in question. That's really all it is with styling. I know that right now it's probably a little frustrating because we are just playing with black, white, and shades of gray. In our next lessons, we are going to start going over color. If you happen to stumble upon color on your own before then, please have fun with it. But we'll be going over some more specifics so it's a little bit easier to use in future lessons. Have fun with styling your shapes. I look forward to seeing what you guys do, and I will see you in our next video. Bye.